I move accordingly
And proceed.
proceed by saying once again that today marks the 5th anniversary of the magnificent repeal referendum vote, and thankfully the situation for pregnant people in this country has improved massively since people voted overwhelmingly to trust women and repeal the 8th Amendment. Abortion is available on request until 12 weeks of pregnancy, and beyond that in very limited circumstances. The numbers travelling abroad or obtaining abortion pills illegally has dropped significantly. But yet we find that over 200 people a year are still being forced to travel to access abortion services. And according to the National Women's Council, many more are taking abortion pills illegally without proper medical supervision and accessing abortion in other countries. So the question is, why is this still happening? And the answer lies in the restrictions that's contained in the Act itself. Restrictions like the patronising compulsory 3-day wait for women to access abortion care. This, by the way, does not exist for any other medical procedure, and certainly not for any procedure needed by men. The criminalisation of doctors with a 14-year prison sentence if they interpret the law incorrectly and cannot 100% guarantee that it would prove fatal within 28 days of birth rather than 29 or 30 on the grounds of health risks and that they cannot prove are serious enough. And the effective ban on abortions post 12 weeks, where people are forced over the limit by all too common delays in accessing health services or facing risk to their mental or physical health. So I don't think we should forget that successive Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael governments were dragged into this debate on abortion, kicking and screaming, and forced to call the referendum following a litany of predictable tragedies and, importantly, sustained pressure from a mass movement from below. So I move the amendment to the Health Regulation of Termination of Pregnancy Act 2018. And this bill would amend that Act to provide for abortion on request by lifting the 12-week limit. It would abolish the 3-day waiting period. It would allow for abortion on the grounds of fatal fetal anomaly that is likely to lead to the death of a fetus within 1 year of birth. And it would importantly decriminalise the provision of abortion. We bring this to the Dáil to update Ireland's abortion law, and despite the historic and categoric victory of repeal, we still have 200 at least travelling a year. This is utterly unacceptable. Women and girls cannot wait any longer for proper access to modern abortion care, free from the risk of the prosecution for the medical profession. And despite your government's conservatism, Minister, you must realise that the people of Ireland spoke in the repeal victory 5 years ago. A recent National Women's Council poll showed that 80% agree that no woman should have to travel abroad, that 71% agree that abortion should not be criminalised. But why are they going? It's because women's health is being harmed by continuing their pregnancy if they stay in this country. Currently, the numbers accessing abortion care under the health grounds are similar to those who are able to access the care on health grounds under the previous regime. And 2 out of every 5 who need care because of fatal fetal anomaly cannot access the care they need here. And doctors say for certain that because doctors cannot say for certain that a fetus will die within 28 days. Doctors work under the chill of the veil of criminalisation that could lead to a 14-year sentence. The 3-day wait is utterly insulting and patronising, and the rigid 12-week limit I've spoken about. This impacts mostly on women who find their health has deteriorated beyond 12 weeks, on teenagers who don't discover that they're pregnant till then, on undocumented migrants, on disabled people, and people living in domestic and coercive abuse relationships, and crucially on many who live in far-flung regions of rural Ireland. I want to talk for a minute about Dr. O'Shea's report. We all know it was issued, albeit late. It's very, very welcome. And the report is informed entirely by the experiences of women and girls and the medical practitioners. And she has put women's experience front and centre. And the review that was ordered by you, Minister, is contained in the legislation that we passed. It's contained because it was said at the time by Minister Harris, we have to ensure that the law is working. Now we have politicians claiming that they're uncomfortable with the review, but for too long, women's health has been dictated to by politicians and clerics. The law does not reflect the spirit of repeal, and we cannot excuse people voting yes because of the heads of bill. This is just not the case. The only evidence we have are the exit polls, which comprehensively prove that the vote for yes was on the grounds of giving women the choice and not forcing them to travel. To put off any change until after the next election, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and pro-government independents who rely disproportionately on the older anti-choice vote are being absolutely disingenuous and increasingly leaving women and girls open to dangerous situations and forcing them to travel.